Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? So apparently, Devin Haney's father, trainer, manager, and, business partner, Bill Haney, is not being allowed to travel. As of right now, he's not being allowed to travel to Australia and be in his son's corner, work with him throughout his camp leading up to this fight. I mean, the fight is about 2 weeks away, 2.5, 3 weeks, something like that. It's June 5th. Math may be a little bit off. But, as of right now, he's not being allowed to travel due to, something on his record in the past. And from what I hear, also that Ben Davidson is not being allowed to travel to Australia as well. I don't know how true that is, but that's just what I'm hearing. So Bill Haney has put Zab Judah's father, Yoel Judah, in his place to be in Devin's corner. And I believe that, he's in great hands. Mr. Judah has always been, been there for Zab Judah and, helped him manage his career and just been really instrumental in Zab Judah's career. And you see the type of guy that Zab Judah had turned out to be. Also, they have a close-knit relationship, the Haneys and the Judah. So I think Devin Haney is in real good hands. He's there with somebody who he's familiar with, somebody that he trusts. So I'm not worried one bit about that, but I could understand how this could affect your average person or your average fighter. I could see how this could mentally, kind of bring a fighter down, and make them less confident or less sure of themselves, or kind of make them second guess or make them uncomfortable in that environment without their trainer, without their father, somebody who's been in their life and been in their corner their whole life. I can see how that could bring down the average guy. But Devin Haney isn't your average guy. Devin Haney has shown and has proved time after time that he's different than these other fighters, most of these other fighters. This guy has been willing, and he's been vocal, and he's been showing with action that he wants to prove that he is the best, and he's willing to go through any type of length, damn near, to prove that. This guy was 21 years old, turned pro at 16, 17 years old. I think it was 17. He was fighting in Mexico on a pro level at age 16. Came to the States and had his first pro fight at 17. So this guy jumped off the porch early, and he's proven time after time, even at a young age, that I'm willing to take on the best competition. I want to show that I'm the best. I remember when Robert Easter Jr. was a champion at 135. Devin Haney was scratching at the door trying to fight Robert Easter Jr. I mean, this kid was 18 years old. And Robert Easter Jr. ain't no joke. He wasn't no guy that you just finna walk in there and just do what you want to do with. And Devin Haney was legitimately beating down the door trying to fight Robert Easter Jr. at age 18. Hadn't even been pro for 2 years in the U.S. You know what I'm saying? We seen how he chased down Lomachenko. Mind you, while all of this is going on, Lomachenko on the pound-for-pound list, Devin Haney's 21 years old, 22 years old, chasing down Lomachenko, going through all the channels through the WBC, fighting for the Intercontinental Championship, fighting for the interim championship, going through beating, everybody that's on that ranking for the WBC, going through all the proper channels, positioning himself to be the mandatory, to eventually become the mandatory for Lomachenko. You see, they didn't want no smoke. Bob Arum wasn't willing to put that in-house matchup with top-ranked for Lomachenko and Lopez. He wasn't willing to put that at risk, those belts that they had hold of at the time. He wasn't willing to put that at risk by bringing somebody from the outside like Devin Haney who can fuck all that shit up. He wasn't willing to do it. So Lomachenko and them, they position for the franchise belt. We all know the story. I ain't finna go deep into that. But the point is, this man has been proven time after time that he want all the smoke. Then he chased down Teofimo Lopez. But you seen what happened to him. He got in there, took the fight lightly with Kambosos, got his ass whooped, and now look at him. You know what I'm saying? And now Devin Haney, the next man that got the belts, George Kambosos. He want the smoke with him. Now this guy, George Kambosos, was trying to do everything he could to wiggle out of a match with Devin Haney. He even wanted to fight Lomachenko, who had already had 2 losses by Lopez, the guy that he just beat, and fucking Orlando Salido, who got 20 losses on his record. Been knocked out 7 times. He want to fight that dude over an undefeated champion like Devin Haney. Doing everything he can to wiggle out of that fight, knowing damn well ain't no money in fighting Lomachenko. This dude ain't finna bring you no money. So literally there was no reason for him to want to fight Loma outside of not wanting to deal with Devin Haney. But he got backed into a corner. He showed up to the Jojo Diaz fight with Devin Haney talking about Devin Haney got to look impressive. Not just win, but he got to look impressive for me to fight him. This man was looking for all type of different back doors to try to wiggle out of that fight with Devin Haney. But again, he got backed into a corner. This man said, you gotta, now that I'm backed into this corner, let me make up all these stipulations. You gotta travel to Australia to fight me, even though you ain't done a motherfucking thing. You just, had a fluky ass win and won these 3 titles off of Lopez. You feel me? A fight that was really close. I ain't gonna, I don't really rock with Teofimo like that. Teofimo, I don't really fuck with him like that, but I'm gonna keep it 100. Man, that fight was close. That fight was close. Both of them had knockdowns, and George Kambosos, yeah, he was decent, but he wasn't overly impressive to me, if we being real. So you got a fluky ass win over Lopez. You got the win. I ain't saying he didn't deserve it, but you got a fluky ass win. Some shit that could have went either way. And now you talking about you the emperor, you making all these crazy ass demands like you just been running through shit. Man, you ain't done shit. You know what I'm saying? So you saying Devin Haney got to go over to Australia. Not only that, he got to sign a 3-fight deal with Top Rank. He got to do a rematch in Australia. Devin Haney said, look, man, I'll fight you on Jupiter. I don't mind any of these stipulations that you got. I don't care. I'm willing to take on the challenge. So Devin Haney yet again proves that I want this fight. I'm making all these concessions to make this fight with George Kambosos. And that's exactly what he did. Now we have another situation where his father, his trainer, both of his trainers, from my understanding, his main guys, I don't know if Mickey Bay is going to be there. Hopefully Mickey Bay will be able to travel. But you know what I'm saying? Now he's going to be without those guys. But yet, Devin Haney ain't worried. He already over there. He done already took that flight. That man ain't worried. Devin Haney is different from these average guys. Y'all got to stop looking at Devin Haney as just a regular guy. I ain't talking about skills. I ain't talking about physically. I'm talking about up here. Devin Haney different. He different. Mental fortitude different. A lot of these guys would have folded. A lot of these guys would have said, man, you crazy as hell. I ain't finna sign that contract. Man, I ain't finna go over there and fight him in Australia. Who the fuck is George Kambosos? Didn't nobody know who he was 12 months ago. Nobody knew who the fuck George Kambosos was. Why I'm gonna go over there and fight him in Australia? He ain't no damn emperor. I can't make no money fighting him. Anybody else would have folded. Now they say my daddy can't go over there. Man, fuck y'all talking about, bro. I'm not finna go over there. You see Terrence Crawford, I love Terrence Crawford, but he say, man, I ain't fighting Earl Spence in Dallas, even though we know Earl Spence is a legitimate star. He earned all 3 of his belts the hard way, the strong way. You know what I'm saying? Out the mud. You feel me? And he got a real fan base in Dallas, Texas. He do numbers. Do a gate and do decent pay-per-view numbers. Errol Spence is a legitimate star. Right? But Terrence Crawford said, man, hell no, I ain't finna fight Errol Spence in Dallas. No. Even though Earl Spence is the caliber of guy that can demand such things. But Devin Haney fighting a guy who really ain't in no position to demand nothing like that. But yet Devin Haney want to be so great. He want to be great so bad. He want to be undisputed so bad. He care about his legacy so much that he willing to make all these concessions. You can say he's selling out. You can say, oh, he giving up too much. Man, fuck all that. See, y'all ain't got that heart and that mind of a champion. Y'all ain't thinking on a larger scale of things. That man willing to put it all on the line. You got to respect that. I don't think you motherfuckers really understand what's going on. All these pessimistic ass mindsets, everybody's so scared and nervous and worried and shit. Devin Haney ain't worried. Why y'all worried and Devin Haney ain't worried? I'm telling you, that man different. He ain't worried about potentially taking no L. He believe in his skills and his ability that much that he willing to go over there and risk them, doing some fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? He willing to go over there and risk them potentially robbing him on the cars. He willing to go over there and risk potentially not having his father in his corner. He willing to go over there and risk them potentially pulling some type of, behind the scenes type shit that can fuck him up or throw him off his rhythm. He willing to put all that on the line. Why? Because he want to be great. And when he is successful, that make the shit that much sweeter. I don't think y'all get that shit. I don't think y'all understand. I'm going to tell you like this. I don't give a damn what they do. That shit ain't going to save George Kambosos. At the end of the day, he got to get in there and fight. And I don't know if y'all think George Kambosos this world beater. I don't. Devin Haney is by far the better fighter. And you going to find out on June 5th. And if he take a L, hey, anything can happen in boxing. But he actually dared to be great. Fuck that Canelo shit y'all talking about. This is daring to be great. This right here is daring to be great. You know what I'm saying? So motherfuckers that suggesting that he back out of the fight, come on, man, that's bullshit to me. Back out the fight? For what? Come on now. Come on now. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. How do y'all feel about this whole situation? Devin Haney, his father not being allowed to travel. All of the fuck shit and the bullshit that he's having to deal with just to have a unification match. Something that you should want as the opposition. As a peer, as a fellow fighter, as a fellow champion, you should want to unify. You should make it easier for the opponent to unify, especially for Undisputed. This the last fight. Ain't no, I need to go get that belt or that belt. This Undisputed, this it. You should make it easy for your opposition so y'all can make that happen. Now I understand shit, the art of war. You want to make shit difficult and make shit as uncomfortable as possible. Now, I ain't mad at George Kambosos now for pulling these stunts. If it is a conspiracy. I ain't even saying that it's a conspiracy. This could just be the law and just how they moving over there. You know what I'm saying? But if it is some stunts that's being pulled, which I wouldn't be surprised at all, I ain't mad at them for doing that. Shit, he trying to gain every competitive advantage he possibly can. All the war. But at the same time, Devin Haney ain't worried about that shit either. Because he willing to go get it however it come. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Contender regime boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.